Erica?
Hey.
How you doing?
Good. Did you finish the soup?
Well, the soup is currently cooking. The matzo balls are simmering.
I've never made matzo ball soup. I don't even know how to pronounce it, whether it's matzo or matza.
I think that's open to interpretation, but I'm also saying that as a non-Jew. So
What do you say?
Matzo? Matzo ball?
Matza. I was given to understand that you were not much of a cook.
Who told you that?
Talk here if I do this. Okay, so this is what it's going to sound like. And that's that.
That's Nick Sanborn on his porch at night, and Amelia Meath walking along the Eno River outside Durham, North Carolina. And this is a podcast called Shaking Out the Numb. Together, Nick and Amelia are the band Sylvanesso, which just came out with a new record called Free Love, and so we decided to make a podcast about it. Or not it exactly, but stories and ideas and shards of ideas that come up out of the music they make. They told me about the trees and frogs and rivers where they are, and Nick's visit to a machine that smashed atoms and shaped what we understand about space and time, and all of these stories were bounced to me in Vermont from a satellite orbiting the Earth. Here's Nick.
I don't know when I first heard of the Higgs boson. It was kind of one of those physics white whales, you know, like the number E or other mystical natural phenomena that we are aware is there, but are so mysterious and unknowable. They kind of garner their own cult of kind of romance and personality in non-scientists. It didn't really become something I spent a lot of time thinking about until my friend Brent asked me to be a part of his musical about it. And as a part of the research for that, we all got to be one of the first groups of civilians to visit the Tevatron. And the Tevatron is a now decommissioned Large Hadron Collider, which means it's this giant circular tunnel, like a tunnel that's a loop underground in northern Illinois. And the purpose of it was to shoot tiny particles round and around as fast as we could, and then smash them into each other in the hopes that in breaking them apart, we would find the smallest bits of matter and physics that we could find.
Oh, there's a tiny little baby frog. Oh, don't worry, the world is it's like the whole world is a giant bus.
So I remember we all got on a bus, and you kind of cross this hill, and you see this giant herd of buffalo. Because the man who conceptualized the Tevatron decided that he needed to remind everyone who's coming there that they were embarking on a new frontier.
I found a snail.
And to him, the American bison was the ultimate symbol of the American frontier.
Oh, you snail.
And that the herd of bison is still there.
Cedar. They're cedar trees. They're cedars and a lot of big oaks.
So you come across this thing, and there's this giant circle plain. It was this place picked for being flat and in the middle of nowhere. So you came through this fence or along this ridge. I remember that there was a reveal of this central plain, and it was very obviously a circle, a giant circle. Then we went down to see the Tevatron. We went deep underground, and we emerge in this giant open space that's almost entirely filled with this massive tube.
So that you can hear.
And you can see it curving away in both directions. So you can tell that we're just seeing part of the circle.
Like the flaky.
It was like going into like a pyramid.
The sky is white.
What I picture is this giant gun that they shoot these tiny particles out of, like smaller than light. And there's a field in this tunnel that causes them to curve around and accelerate, so that they can just keep going faster and faster with nothing in their way. This stream of minutia racing like faster than the speed of light, and then smashing spectacularly into another tiny thing and exploding.
Did it work?
It did.
It did?
It did.
It's a ring, I'm running around it, babe. It's a ring, it's safety and dangerous. It's a frequency we hear in our sleep. It's a ringing thing.
So after we go in, we're welcomed into this room where we're able to ask scientists questions. And one of us asked, how would you feel if you guys found it? Like, what does the buildup feel like? And he kind of said that we don't really get to have an aha moment. Like, if we're going to find it, we will slowly narrow down a set of results until we prove that it's there. You just work and work and work at something until it's there, or it isn't. And there was something, I don't know what it was. I think about that guy all the time. Like, that was a shift in like the way I saw accomplishment. You know what I mean? I think especially when I had much less to show for myself than I luckily do now, I think there's always a fantasy that the difference between you and somebody who's quote unquote made it is some lucky moment. And that's occasionally true, but for the vast majority of people, that's not true. It's just work. You're just working. And then you get there or you don't get there. And every once in a while, one of us will write a song in 5 minutes that's one of the best things we ever done. But the vast majority of the time, we're sitting and chipping away at something, and we know it's there. We can hear it at the edge of something. But there's no eureka. The way more often than not, we're sitting there and chipping away until we've fully realized the idea. And the final moment is almost never a congratulatory putting the final piece of the puzzle into the puzzle and high-fiving. You don't figure it out until later.
Or
but that doesn't make it any less magical. You know what I mean? Oh, hang on, my timer's going off. My matzo balls are ready.
Now I'm coming up along the Eno. This trail runs along the Eno River. I'm gonna go up and get the sound of the water. Here.
When I saw you from across the bar, it occurred to me we never could be, though I hadn't thought that far. And though I hadn't thought it kept floating back upwards. Oh, never kept on ringing, though I never used the word. It's a ring, I'm running around it, babe. It's a ring, it's safety and dangerous. It's a frequency we hear in our sleep. It's a ringing thing. Never melted under forever anyway. Highway, oh highway, we playing Every day is another date, and a date is a show day. We leave them all ringing on our hands, we keep them safe. It's a ring, I'm running around it, babe. It's a ring, it's safety and dangerous. It's a frequency we hear in our sleep. It's a ring. It's a ring, I'm running around it, babe. It's a ring, it's safety and dangerous. It's a frequency we hear in sleep. It's a ring,
That was Nick Sanborn and Amelia Meath. The song is called Ring from their new record, Free Love, which is out now. Go to sylvanesso.com for more. I'm Erica Heilman. Thanks a lot for listening.